I was taking a look at the latest Apple products and I came across this landing page and I thought to myself, is it possible to recreate this video background in the latest Divi 5? And sure enough, I was able to do something similar. So over here is my version. You can see here that my video is playing in the background. And then over here, I was able to just go in and design also, just a basic layout here that also works with my main design that I have here in the video background. So this is what we're going to be doing in this video. Now, if you're a designer, this could be one of the best ways to showcase a product for your clients. So you can see here again on Insta360 that, the video, it just takes over the main hero area, and this can be a very, very good way of presenting a product for your clients. Before we get started, I have a course called Divi 5 Mastery. It's on diviuniversity.com. Now, this course only costs $27. It's on a 50% discount. So go ahead and check it out. It has quite a lot of people that have signed up to. You can see here we have 690 students already on Divi 5 Mastery. Now, the cool thing about this course is I'll be updating it as Divi improves. So any new features that Divi adds, I'll be adding on to this course, which means that you don't have to pay extra in the future. And also, you don't have to keep going on YouTube looking for tutorials on how to use Divi 5. Everything will be included in the Divi 5 Mastery course. I really want you to master Divi because this is a really good platform to design websites. Anyway, let's get started. So over here, I have a blank slate. So what we're going to start off by doing is we need to get our video first. Here I have DaVinci Resolve. It's absolutely free. It's a free video editor. So what I did was I went to Pexels Video. It's a website where you can download royalty-free videos. And I just, added them onto a sequence. And you can see here, this is the sequence. Now, to make it a bit exciting, what I also did was I used this little feature over here, which is called dynamic zoom. So what it does is as you're playing the video, it sort of like zooms in, and then for the next clip, it's zooming out. So that just adds the dynamic zoom as it mentions here in DaVinci Resolve. So once this is done, all you have to do is to come over here, and then you want to add to render queue by coming over here. So I'm just going to say replace for now, but I've already done this step. And then you want to click render. Now, once you click render, you're going to get a full video that needs to be uploaded onto your website's media library. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So over here, we are going to start with our background, as we mentioned. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings. Now, it's very important we start with the background. Next, we're going to come over here, and then we're going to click this third tab. Now, usually we add a background image, but this time around, we're adding a background video. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Next, you can see here, we have add background videos. We just need to click on that. Now, that video that I exported from DaVinci Resolve, I've imported it into my media library here. So all I have to do is to click once on it like that, and then say upload video. Okay. So that's pretty much all we need to do here. Now you can see my video is already playing in the background. I need to now adjust the height of the video. Okay, so this is the next part. I'm going to come over here to design. I'm still in my section settings here. And then I'm going to come over here to sizing. Next, I'm going to go to height. And I'm going to set this to 95 VH. Okay, and then next I'm going to hit enter. So now you can see we have this huge video area and my video now is playing. Now we need to add all the elements to work with our main hero area. For example, here you can see on the Apple iPods Pro, we've got this text here. And you can also see the spacing here is done really, really well. And also on the Insta 360 here, I mean, the spacing here is also done really, really well. So for this, because I use SiteKrafter, it's going to make sure that all my spacing is correct. And this is obviously going to save me a lot of time. However, you don't need to use SiteKrafter in order for you to achieve what I'm trying to do here. Next, I'm going to go to my rows. Now for this, I'm going to need a single column. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Right. Now, with this column, I'm going to start needing to add my text. So I'm going to go ahead and add my text module here. And I'm going to duplicate this because I'm going to need the main title here, and then the description. And then below this, I'm going to need 2 buttons, right? So in order for us to get our 2 buttons side by side, we need to click on this plus button here and add a group. And in this group, we need to add a button like that. Now, since we need 2 buttons, we're going to duplicate this. And then while we're here, make sure you select group settings. Okay, it's very important you do that because that is how we're going to get our controls to then align everything the way we need using Flexbox. Next, I'm going to come over here to layout, and you can see I'm in Flexbox, but things are in a column structure, which means one on top of the other. Now we need them sideways, which means we're going to need the row, which is that. Okay, so now our buttons are sorted. Everything looks great. Right, the next thing now we need to do is to head over into our row settings here, because we need to make this fill the whole screen. So in order for us to do that, we're going to come over here to design, and I think it's sizing. So let's set this to 100%. Hit enter. We're also going to do the same here for our maximum width, 100%. Hit enter. And now you can see everything is edge to edge. Now, we can see here that we still have this gap, right? On the top here and also on the bottom. So what we need to do is, while we're still in the row here, we need to also set our height. So we're going to go into design, height, and remember we set to 95%. So we still also need to do that. Let's see if this is applied. Okay, so this is applied. The next thing we need to do is to come over here to our section settings and remove any padding. So I'm going to come over here to advanced. I mean, in fact, you can come over here to design. You can go to spacing. And then for the padding top and bottom, we can just set this to 0. Now, everything is all edge to edge. Our rows and our section are now in the same space. There's no gaps between them. Okay, great. So now that we have this, we're still far from what we need in order for us to have our design looking the way it is. So what we need to do next is to come over here to our row settings, and then this time we need to go into the column, okay? Because this is where we need to go into the design layout and make sure that our text, it's all the way up here. We want it all the way to the bottom. So we need to now, making sure this is left on column, we now need to change the alignment here. So I'm going to say end, and now everything is all the way to the bottom, which means we are very close now to what we have here. So in our video, all this text here is all the way to the bottom, okay? Like that. All right, so let's continue on. So the next thing now is to stylize all this and make it look the way we want. So I'm going to start off with my first text here. I'm just going to grab a bunch of text from Lorem Ipsum. So I'm going to copy that, and then back over here, I'm going to go in and paste it. And then now I'm going to stylize it. Now, instead of me coming over here and making all these changes in here, it's going to take me a long time. So I'm going to use SiteKrafter for this. because everything is all measured for me. My text is all fluid. My spacing is all like everything is all proper. It follows a spacing scale. All right, so now we're here. I'm going to go to attribute. I'm going to say CSS class because that's what it is. And with my CSS class here, I'm going to name this to class. Okay, now I can add all my attributes. Now you can see here that I'm going to have all my classes all showing. So with that now, I think that needs to be a heading, or maybe just a bit of large text. Let me take a look here. Okay, just large text. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to make this large text. So we're going to say text. Then you can see I've got all my options here to choose my text. I'm going to try large. Okay, it's not large enough, so I'm going to go with 2XL. Okay, I think that will do. And then next, I'm going to add my color. So I'm going to say text. And then I'm going to add gray because I want like an off gray. So I'm going to say gray 100. So now it's easier to read at least. That's good. I'm not going to make it bold because that seems okay. In fact, you know what? Let's just set this to XL, I think. Yeah, I think XL will do fine. All right, so I'm happy with that. Next, I'm going to come over here to this one. Now, this is going to be a bit more. So if we take a look here, we're going to see that, I mean, it's taking 2 lines. So we're going to try and replicate that. So I'm just going to copy this. I think that should make 2 lines. So back over here, I'm going to go in, paste that. I may need to add some more, but let's see what happens when we make our text bigger. So just like before, I'm going to come into my attributes here, click on the attribute and set this to CSS class. Right, on the attribute name, I'm going to set this to class, and then this time it's going to be a custom heading. So I'm going to say SK heading, and I'm going to try 5XL. How about that? Okay, now let's change our color. So I'm going to say text, gray, and just like before, I'm going to say gray 100. Okay, right, so I've got my text now. And I've got my main title text here, which is fantastic. It's time now to adjust the size. Now, while I'm looking at this, I think, let's just take a quick look. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit bigger. So let's go with 6XL. Okay, so now we have our 2 lines, which I think is now getting closer to what we have here. Okay, next we have our buttons there. I mean, we don't need to really go in and stylize the buttons because what I need, which is very important, is to fix my alignment here. I mean, my spacing. And with SiteKrafter, we're using a spacing scale. So I don't need to go in and give this a specific size every single time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head over to my row settings. Okay. Now, before I do the spacing scaling, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a background to my row. The reason why I'm adding my background is because I want to add a bit of a contrast between my text and the video. Now, this is an extra step that I'm taking. So I'm going to come over here and let's add our gradient. Now, right away, you can see our gradient here is covering everything. In fact, I've noticed that something is wrong here. I need to fix this, right? I need to fix this because, yeah. Let's go in. I think I know what the problem is. If we go to spacing here, okay, padding top, padding bottom is set to 0. So that's fine. So let's go to our section height. And for our height here, we're going to go to sizing. Okay, so here we are at 95 VH. So let's see what is happening with our row. 95 VH. So sizing. Okay, so do you see what the problem is? I have it at 95%. So we need to change this to VH, and that should fix it. All right, so that was a bit of a bit of troubleshooting for you. All right, so now that I have my row and I've got my color here, what I need to do now is to make some adjustments. So with this, we're going to go back into our gradient And first of all, let's turn this to 45 degrees. Okay, so do you see now that this color here is all the way down here to where the text and the buttons are? That's exactly what we need to do. Next, I'm going to come in here and change this color. So we're going to come all the way down here to black. And then we're going to add a little bit of transparency on this black. Just a little bit. So we're going to go with, let's go 85. Okay. Next, we're going to come over here to the rest of this design, and we're going to give this 100% transparency. Okay. Now, I know it may not be like visible, but there is that bit of background color there. So my text is much easier to read. Okay. So now that we have this, the next thing we need to do is to go into the column. So I'm going to come over here, advanced, attributes. And for attributes here, I want to add padding, but this padding needs to be dynamic. When the screen gets smaller, the padding also gets smaller. So it's dynamic and fluid. So again, this is using CSS and SiteKrafter. Great. So now I'm going to come over here, attributes, it's a class. Oops. And then for the attribute value, we're going to go in and we're going to say P for padding, and I'm going to go with large. Now, do you see that? You know, I've applied padding around it. Now, if I want to add a bit more, I can just say extra large. And I think extra large works. Okay. I'm going to save this. Now, we're almost done. Now, at this stage, you may want to go in and stylize the button and so on and so forth. So now let me add another column here. So I'm going to go with 2/3, 1/3. Okay. So let's save this for now. And then we're going to do a quick preview. There we go. So you can see here, we have our video playing in the background. And our text is very, very easy to read. But we're not done yet because we need to make sure our spacing here looks great, because right now our spacing is all over the place. Let's fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my row settings and then go into my columns and then design, layout, and then I'm going to make sure that I zero things out here. So I don't want any gaps. So I'm going to hit enter. And you can see now everything is way too close together because I've removed the horizontal gap and the vertical gap because I need to add my own spacing, which is based on a spacing scale, which is what real designers do. All right, so I'm going to go into my attributes now. And since I have my class already set, all I have to do is to add more classes to my attribute value. So here it's, oh, actually, I need to go into the group like that. And then I'm going to go into my attributes and add my class, CSS class. And then over here, we're going to call it class. Right. So we want margin top. So I'm going to say empty. So we're going to start with small. Okay. That's my default. So this just makes me see or gauge how much spacing I need to add between my elements. So I can go medium. If I really want to add 2 times the space I'm going to add between my bigger title and the smaller title. Okay, so this is medium. So the next one now is going to be small. So I'm going to come over here, advanced attributes. Oh, here we have our class already assigned. So I'm just going to say empty, since we used medium before, so this one is going to be small. Okay, so the spacing now is way much better. I know it may not seem like a big difference, but this here is double this spacing here. Okay, so I think I'm good now. I'm going to now save, and of course you want to go here and give your button a name. So instead of saying click here, we're going to say buy now. And for the other one, we're just going to say learn more. How about that? Okay, so pretty much we are done here with our design. I'm going to save this and then we're going to do a preview one more time. And here we are. So as you can see now, this is looking much better. The spacing is precise and it's intentional. So what I'm going to do now is we want to inspect this and see how it's going to look in a different size. So there we go. You're going to make this smaller. Look at my text. I mean, do you see the beauty of using SiteKrafter? I mean, just look at this. The text is getting smaller and smaller, and my spacing is getting smaller as well. Because I know you may be wondering, why am I even using SiteKrafter for this? It's because of this. The spacing here has reduced and the spacing up here has reduced. My text is all dynamic. I did not need to go in and make specific sizes for different screen sizes. No, everything is dynamic. You enter all your all your figures once and that's it. And this is why I prefer using SiteKrafter. Otherwise, this would have taken me double the time. So look at that. When I make it bigger, you can see my spacing is getting better. My text is getting bigger and everything is looking nice and beautiful. So this is what you want to do to showcase a product for your clients. And I'm sure they'll be very excited if you were to present it in this manner. It is really, really awesome. The other websites, they're doing it. Apple is doing it. I mean, Insta360 is doing it. I mean, look at how beautiful this is. I mean, it's fantastic. Insta360, they're also doing it as well. They're showcasing videos in the background. And the good news is Divi 5 can do it too, which is fantastic. Go ahead, try it out. And don't forget to go to diviuniversity.com. If you like what you're seeing, head over to diviuniversity.com and you can also buy me a coffee. There's an option right there in the top right. So check it out, buy Mac a coffee. So that's another way of showing me your support. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.